Anime in the past several years has changed a lot. I in no way mean it's gotten bad or even worse, it's just changed. Almost everything has gone seasonal, and by the time one show ends, there's another to fill in its place. It's more accessible than ever, and this almost limitless plethora of content is fantastic, and I'm grateful for it. But with this mass amount, there's still a lot of stink. Yes, there's groundbreaking shows every season, and yes, there's so much greatness, but I'm not really here to talk about that. Today, I want to go back to a time before this influx, to a show etched into the history of this medium. Of course, I'm talking about Gurren Lagann, a show of heart, soul, and giant robots. Like really, really giant robots. Initially, this video was going to be about how Gurren Lagann was the last classic, but I kind of moved away from that idea as I didn't really like it, and on my rewatch, I found something better. Everyone likes to clown on anime for this believing in yourself trope that gets thrown around so much, but today I'm here to argue that Gurren Lagann is the single greatest and best executed example of this trope and why it can and does work. After a fantastic opening scene highlighting the end of the show, we're introduced to this quiet young man in a small, humble world. The contrast already is enough to leave so many questions hanging. Throughout this first episode, we grow to learn a lot about a young Simone and his blood brother Kamina, who we're going to talk a lot about in a bit. Simone is very reliant on others, and he just sees himself as kind of a loser. No one particularly likes him, and he's all alone except for his brother. Repeatedly, Simone stays quiet or tries to talk Kamina out of danger, but Kamina pushes him to try to keep going. Then, Yoko is introduced, a fan favorite whom I love, and someone who adds some smarts and spunk to the team. By the end of the first episode, we know exactly who these three are, and we're ready to finally start the story. Over the next few episodes, it really is Kamina's story. He's pushing the plot as we meet new friends and faces, and the world grows and makes more sense. Simone throughout all of this was honestly just kind of getting in the way. They almost lost multiple times because Simone was trying to run away and Kamina would just straight up not fight and trying to get Simone to help him. Over time it got better, of course, and by the time Team Gurren was Team Dai Gurren and the group was ready to take on their first general, Simone was a capable fighter. Kamina is fantastic. He leads this story. I genuinely think Gurren Lagann wouldn't even be mentionable without him. He's the heart and soul of this story through and through. From the beginning, his words seem so flashy and out there, yet still so powerful. He runs headfirst through it all. He is without a doubt the most free man in this early story, as the only thing guiding him is his drive to reach higher and higher, his fighting spirit. This goes into why I love REDRILL so much. They are the definition of two sides of the same coin, both fighting for their honor, but REDRILL's doing it for the higher-ups of his military, army, whatever, and Kamina's just kind of doing it for himself. But he's a lot more than this simple-minded brute, as his desire to reach higher comes from his father and wanting to prove his passing wasn't in vain, as well as reach the stars with Simone. Whether it be through him being the first to think of stealing a gunman or forcing the two to combine and form Gurren Lagann, he always manages to clear the path for the group so they can go higher. He consistently says, "Just who in the hell do you think I am?" And this can be taken much deeper, but for this purpose it shows his tendency to pump himself up and show his fiery nature. He always asks the enemy as they can never truly understand what drives a man to aim so high. This dynamic between Simone and Kamina is incredible to me, because everyone, including Simone and the audience, sees Kamina as the strong-willed leader of Team Gurren, the man who always clears the path. But Kamina doesn't think so. He knows Simone's drill is what carves out the path. Kamina just knows how to get people fired up and pushes Simone to dig. Simone's drill, and by extension Simone's soul, is the driving force of Team Gurren, not Kamina. That story that Kamina and Simone tell from two different perspectives is the simplest way to show why Kamina is so great. Simone thought they were stuck. He thought there was no way out, but Kamina's courageous speech and pushing him to keep going led them to get out. But the way Kamina saw it, he lost all hope. He thought he had really messed up and they were done for. But Simone's drill, aka Simone's will to truly keep fighting, relit Kamina's fire. And his empty words of encouragement were full, and he truly knew they would get out just fine. That's why Kamina's first words of "believe in the Kamina that believes in you" hit so hard. Because really, truly, Kamina believes in Simone more than anything else, even himself. He tells Simone that so he knows that he truly believes in him. When he talked with Yoko earlier, he says, "Because I can believe in him, I can believe in me." That shows how much Simone means to him. Maybe I love Kamina so much due to my personal relationships, and I see a lot of my brother in Kamina, but even if that is the case, it doesn't lessen the effect Kamina has one bit. He's incredible to see and to watch fight. And of course, Yoko saw this too, and before their fight with the generals, they share a little moment. Simone, who's still just a kid, sees this and gets upset. It's nothing crazy, he's just a hormonal teenager. He doesn't blow up on Kamina or Yoko, it just kinda weighs him down a bit. So when they get to the fight, Simone can't summon enough spirit to take control of the enemy ship. So here then comes my favorite scene from Kamina. He flies in on Gurren and yells across the ship in the middle of a war zone, "Let me see you grit those teeth," and sucker punches Simone into next week, knocking some sense into him. Finally, Simone is back to it after Kamina gives him some wise words, and they finish the fight. But suddenly he gets hit from below, and the team morale plummets. Everyone starts to lose more and more, but Kamina won't give in. He gets back up. He's the unstoppable leader of Team Gurren after all. Him and Seabone combine one last time and take down the enemy with Kamina's Giga Drill Break. He turned the whole battle on its head. They won after he turned the tides and cleared that path. That's why when Kamina dies after his final push, you really feel the whole show take a hit. Everything comes to a halt. That one constant factor, that one thing that kept it all pushing forward, is gone. Kamina's death really feels like losing a piece of the show. But I don't really think that's a bad thing. Simone since the beginning was just a scared kid. In the first batch of episodes, I can see why some people just wouldn't like him, even though he is our protagonist. But that changes here. After Kamina's death, Simone grows cold. He takes Kamina's dying words and twists them, unconsciously, into this poor version of what it truly meant. Simone has this obsession with being like Bro. He grew depressed, he had a lifeless look in his eyes, and he was foolishly trudging forward. He was doing it like Kamina would have. Or how he thinks he would. He doesn't see the truth behind Kamina's courageous actions. He doesn't see that Simone was the truth to that. However, Simone can't really fight. His Lagann won't work like it should, and it's because he isn't really believing in himself. To this extent, the machines are literally powered by fighting spirit, aka believing in yourself. Lagann just simply won't work. Here enters Nia. I adore Nia. After the void Kamina left, she feels like not a replacement, but a new light shining in on the story. I mean, the rain that was happening since the moment Kamina died lifted when she came into the story. You can't really get much more symbolic than that. She's very different from him, a soft-hearted young woman, but she still has that same strong conviction. She feels like she single-handedly pushes the story once more, pushing for Simone to grow and believe in himself. It seems that everyone on Team Gurren is constantly thinking, what would Kamina do during their battles? But Nia didn't know him. She wouldn't know what he would do, but she knows Simone. He saved her, and she sees his true kind and strong nature. He's just hiding because he's scared to do it alone, to do anything without Kamina. That's when it gets dire and Team Gurren is about to lose, and Nia is about to be killed. And Simone still isn't fighting. But Nia, not knowing Kamina, doesn't think about him. She thinks about Simone and asks for his help, not Kamina's. Kamina said, "Believe in the you that believes in you." In his last moments, he threw out what he said previously, in place to instead tell Simone to simply believe in himself. And Simone, after all this time, finally realized this. He realized Kamina wouldn't have wanted him to try and be Kamina. He wanted Simone to be just that, Simone. His constant lessons and brotherly advice wasn't to change who Simone was, but to bring out his courage, to bring out the all-powerful leader Kamina knew Simone had in him all this time. Because like I said earlier, the only reason Kamina's words ever had any meaning and weight is because Simone was right beside him to drill forward. Simone was the method to Kamina's madness. Simone was the one pushing from below all this time. The battle where Simone realizes this is incredibly cathartic and one of the best moments in the show. We as the audience believe in Simone, and all of Team Dai Gurren does now as well. He finally realizes he needs to be himself in order to win and push on. He can't keep holding on to Kamina. He's not his big bro. He needs to take those lessons he was taught and move forward stronger, never forgetting him. This leads into an incredible fight and then moves forward towards the final fight against the Spiral King. These episodes were great, but the real magic is Simone finally killing Lord Genome with his drill, with his soul, and freeing the world. He was able to get this far due to his fighting spirit and the people pushing him along the way. All of this growth, Kamina pushed him in, and Nia and the others reinforced, led Simone to be the boy to free the human race, to free the surface. His fate, his destiny has been fulfilled, and he had a newfound belief in himself. Simone was a hero and truly felt like the heart of the story. He was the one pushing the story forward. After the time skip, everything feels quite strange. It's wonderful seeing everyone getting to live peaceful lives, but you can tell Simone doesn't feel all there. It feels like every time he talks, his mind is elsewhere. Pretty obviously thinking of adventure and the grander life he once had. Except, of course, when he talks to Nia. After all these years, Nia is just so incredibly special to him. She keeps him tethered to reality and to his life here. But he can't even have that. After a certain number of humans live on the surface, the anti-Spiral have decided to terminate them to rid the universe of the quote-unquote Spiral nemesis. Lord Genome's final words warned us of this, but it came out of nowhere. The freshly engaged 2, Nia, is transformed and taken as the messenger of the anti-Spiral. Simone's one true love gone, stripped from him, and his entire planet is at stake. He has no purpose, no nothing, yet he still keeps digging, he still pushes, and he knows he has to get Nia back. This is still the same old Simone we saw all those years ago. This part of the story really focuses on 2 things. One, Simone's loss of purpose that I just mentioned, as well as Simone dishing out the lesson that Kamina taught him to believe in yourself to 2 people. One of them being much more overt in Rossiu. I loved Rossiu pre-time skip, but over the course of the time skip, Rossiu has had to make a lot of difficult decisions and do some bad things, because he believes it's the only way to end up on the best side for everyone. Of course, Simone doesn't stand for this and tries to fight back, but it doesn't really work. But after all this, the toll on Rossiu is too great. He betrayed his best friend Simone, and he feels like he's constantly making the wrong decision. This leads him to try and take his own life. It's awful to see, and even though you kinda hate him up until this for all the stuff he's done, you don't want to see him do this. He doesn't deserve it, no one does. But Simone, breaking all of what should be possible, makes it there, and in one of the best parallels in the series so far, he jumps out of Gurren Lagann and screams, "Let me see you grit those teeth," before sucker punching him across the room. We know how much this moment meant to Simone, how much weight that punch carried, and he gives it back to Rossiu. So he knows, so he gets that Rossiu is still his friend. He is still here, and it's never worth giving up. Then there's Viral. He didn't need much teaching in this lesson, as after these 7 years, it seems Kamina's death did that for him. He's grown past that, and eventually Simone and Viral grow a small bond. At this point in the story, I just absolutely love Viral, and it's a disservice not to love him and mention him here. But after all is said and done, Team Dai Gurren comes to the rescue, with Yoko making one of the best entrances ever, and the team has to roll on out for the final battle to stop the anti-Spiral and to save Nia. I love this moon part so much for a small reason, as Kamina made a promise to Simone that they were going to make it back to the moon one day. And Simone finally did. I just thought I wanted to mention that even at this point in the story, Kamina is still very prevalent. Anyway, I digress. The reformed Team Dai Gurren suits up and sets off for their far reaches of space to fight the anti-Spiral. I adore this part of the story as it gets a lot of great action, but it's not very important here, so we're going to move on. Now, I've somehow gone this whole time without really mentioning one of my favorites, Kitan. He is an incredible fighter, and he was the stand-in leader before Simone got out of his rut. He already was pretty self-confident, so he didn't need much help, but there's one moment where I think it all kind of shows what he stood for in the show, and also why I love him. Team Gurren is in a bad spot, and they're all going to sink in this space ocean thing. Simone is trying his best, but he can't produce enough energy, so Kitan, after stealing Kamina's girl right at the end there, hops in his mech and is ready to blow this energy field to smithereens. And he gets the hole open, but can't destroy the core. The ship tries, but they can't succeed. His mech starts to crumble and blow up, but in his final moments, he gets out in his small, not space-ready mech, and he says he doesn't want to say some sorry crap like later, buddy, like Kamina did. He just goes guns blazing and heads in, and right at the end, he felt spiral power for the first time, showing he was truly capable and believed in himself enough to bring out that power. And his Giga Drill break, he's... The Anti-Spiral is a fantastic villain. It perfectly sets itself as the opposite of the human belief in basically everything they stand for. It believes they need to be oppressed, and that belief means nothing in the greater cosmos. So when they use their weird space powers to trap the team in a dream world where they can supposedly never escape from, it gets pretty wacky. In this world, we get a lot reaffirmed for Simone. It's almost like the cosmos got Kamina all wrong. In this world, Kamina and Simone are stealing using Simone's drill. It paints Kamina as this sleazeball, a coward even. And Simone just can't help but look on in disgust. Yes, he has his big bro back, that's all he's ever really wanted, but at what cost? Who is this faker? That's when the real Kamina shows up, and once again knocks some sense into Simone, and Simone rejects this fake world. He knows who he is now, he's accepted the loss of his brother, and he has to keep moving. He can't just stay behind. This is probably the sweetest moment in the show, where grown Simone gets to talk with his bro. But he has to leave and save the world, no, the universe. And Simone, with his strong will and fighting spirit, takes everyone with him out of their respective worlds. Simone says his goodbyes to Kamina and the rest of the fallen Team Gurren crew. Seeing Simone as his own man is beautiful. You can really see the impact Kamina had on him, but not like Simone is some remake or copy, we've been over that. You just see the influences Kamina's guidance had on him. As the battle reaches its conclusion, and they escape the mind prison, Simone takes the helm, and Team Gurren goes to finish the job. Now, on an even playing field, the battle for the universe truly begins. A lot is said in this final battle, and literally all of it affirms why I love Simone, and why he is one of my favorite protagonists ever. He shouts the famous "just who in the hell do you think we are?" after saving Nia and fighting the enemy. His will is so strong, he defies all logic and pushes forward, like a drill. His speech as he talks about those that have fallen and those who will follow gets me every single time. The chills are insane. This entire story is filled to the brim with speeches and lines that are not only incredibly motivating, but also just really badass. The bonds of his friends, his desire to move forward, they make him who he is. They allow him to change fate itself and push back, making his own path. That's the best message of this story. No matter how silly or cliche it might sound, if you push hard enough, if you will it to be so, you can and will accomplish anything you set your mind to. Fate is yours to hold, and it's ours to change. With that, he wins the day using his Lagann. This is where I bring up the movie before we close out, because this is what I always think of when I think of Gurren Lagann. If you don't know, there were 2 movies made after the series came out, and that basically recover the story, with slight changes. We don't know that. Up until the end of the second movie, where the battle between Team Gurren and the Anti-Spiral gets taken to the next level. And I wish this part was included in the original ending, because it adds so much to all of the themes, and especially the one we have discussed today. Because not only does their power create a new final form, in Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, it holds so much more weight. As they hold so much will and power, they fight on a universal scale. And even though the Anti-Spiral beat down every single form of Gurren Lagann once again, even this time, Lagann can't win. So Simone falls down alone, bare-fisted, and begins to beat the ever-living shit out of this alien. And at the end, his fighting spirit, his soul, manifests and creates a drill. And he wins. Simone the Digger won and liberated the entire universe. And it was all thanks to that drill of his. He promises to protect it all, and he alone stands at the top. Just as Kamina said way back when, Simone's drill did in fact pierce the heavens. But I like how Simone phrased it better. His drill is the drill that creates the heavens. When they return home after triumphant victory, Simone and Nia marry. He finally gets his happily ever after. But it doesn't last. Nia, who was simply an anti-spiral messenger, couldn't live any longer. After all he fought for, he still lost Nia. And again, Simone is left alone. But this time, he doesn't grieve, he doesn't fight. Not because he didn't love her, no, I think he loved her more than anything in the universe. But because after all this, he got everything he's wanted, but he knows grieving won't make her come back. And he's learned he's just meant to dig. And with that, he grabs his coat, leaves his Lagann drill, and departs. He accepted her loss, and he will never try to replace her. But he will carry her will, her love, with him for the rest of his life. That life where he'll just be a simple digger, and help those he can on his home soil, Earth. Life will suck, and suck so much. But as long as you keep moving forward, like a drill, and believe in yourself, you can and will find your purpose. You will find the other side. The overwhelming optimism in this series reigns true over my life to this day, as there's always more further down the path. So never, ever give up. And believe in the you that believes in you. Thank you everyone for watching and for making it this far. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.